Anybody join us yet? Nope, just me. Double check I got the recording underway. It's now 3:06. And some recording. Yep, 3:06. It's starting recording. I'll close File Explorer. And not sure, can't remember if I can close Zoom meeting or not. Minimize it. Here's my attendance list. I think I'm all set. Still nobody else yet on board. Everything lined up. And get some notes ready. Yeah. Talk about LT. Okay. Line type. LTS scale. And properties. So this is class number 6 on 21 July 2020. And let's see. May I can continue working, continue grading errands. It looks excellent. I'll print. I'll save it. And I will email Aaron. All right, Burgener. Not too many files. Explorer. Hello, Daniel. Hey there, hi there, ho there. You're as welcome as can be. Let's see, reply all. And we will, whoops, we will choose file, student work, week 5, Aaron, and attach and done. Perfect. And what the heck, I'll choose another file. We'll send. And I'll minimize. What the heck, I'll close. Okay, Daniel. And see you've joined us. I assume you've called in you're on the telephone line. Let's see, 312. Only one student is tuned in. Let's see, I forgot to get NanoCAD up and running. Hello, Dan's cell line. I think I got two of Daniel now. And Elizabeth came to join us. Clicking to admit Elizabeth. And let's see. Okay. Fortunately, IntelliCAD has some differences. I'm unable to find how to load line types in LT or in NanoCAD. So I'll have to do some research before Aaron comes on. Let's see, scripts, drafting settings. Nope, nothing there for line types. Hello, Ali. Welcome aboard. I'm frantically trying to learn the NanoCAD equivalent. I'm getting hit here from poor planning. Layers, line weight, units, style tools. Drafting settings, is that, nope, been there already. Application, load application. Inquiry. All right, we got, looks like Daniel, Elizabeth, and Ali. And hopefully Aaron. Who else? Anna.
Hi, everyone. It's Dan.
Hey, Daniel. Let's see who else is still having trouble with memorizing names. Attendance. All right, should be getting Aaron yet. Alexander has missed a few classes, so I hope she stays with us. Is Elizabeth with us? Yes. And Topaz, Sally. Is Sally with you? Oh, she's working late, right?
Yeah, she's working right now. She's on a hot job. She's trying to get it out. So she's she might be joining us late. I'm not positive.
All right, I think I got the recording going. Have you tried the recording, viewing the recording, Daniel?
I haven't looked at any of the recordings as of yet.
Okay, well, I'm glad you haven't needed to.
Yeah, I haven't had the need to go back, but that's one of the things Sally said that she was going to do for today's anything she misses, she's going to look through the recording.
Okay. Should get Anna and at least Anna and Aaron. Expect to join us. But the show must go on. I just uploaded the handout for today. Here it is in my on the right side of my screen here. I think I might have updated it a little bit since printing out the the entire set of handouts a couple of weeks ago. Okay, so let's get underway. Today's lesson, just one page of class handouts today, page 6-1. And I redefined the exercises for homework in the lower right of the page. So maybe let's take a pick of 2 of those to do for homework. So maybe as time permits, skim through your book and check which are look like the most fun to do. We'll do 2 of them. I think they're all pretty time consuming. There's no giveaway ones there. So any rate, up to this point, we've learned how to create layers. Remember last week with our furniture, we created layers for chairs, bathtub, walls, windows, and each layer had a property for the color and a property for the line weight. Well, this lesson we're going to cover line types. You see in the week 6-1 handout, this would be the layer table again. I'd like you to generate these 7 layers, 3 different flavors of center lines, center, center 2, and center X2, and 3 different flavors of hidden. You probably only need 1 of them, but for good measure, let's load the 3 different flavors of hidden. Or let's name layers equal to the line type. Probably don't see this in real life. That way you remember that the layer named center uses the center or the line typed named center. And the layer named hidden 2 uses the line type named hidden 2. Let's go to layers here. And I've already got most of the layers for this week, but not the hidden layers. All right, Burgener, how do I, okay. Up to this point, remember when we started a new layer, well, I'm sorry, when we start a new drawing, it only has the 0 layer, and it only has the continuous line type. Let me start a new drawing to show you that. We'll start a new drawing here. I'll close the snap and whatever this annotation thing is. So again, a start from scratch drawing only has the 1 layer named 0, and it only has the 1 line type. If we had more line types, you could click on the word continuous and select from the menu of loaded line types. So let me click on the word continuous on this blank new start from scratch ACAD.DWT drawing. Lo and behold, it's the menu of loaded line types only has continuous. I have been clicking the load button here to load new line types. In a second, I'll show you watched a couple of other people's YouTube videos. By the way, I notice I have not made a YouTube video or tutorial for this topic yet, so that's on my to-do list. I watched a few others, and they got another way to load. I'll show you in a second. But again, back up here, you click on the word continuous, just like we clicked on the color or the line weight. You're expecting a menu to come up. And who is with us? Anna's coming in. Again, the line weight, a menu pops up. You would expect a menu to pop up when you type the line type or click on the line type. Let's see, do I need to grant someone? Okay, I heard a chime, but I don't see a button to admit the newcomer. I hope I've admitted everybody that's come in. Anyway, getting back here, when you click on the line type, you'd expect to have a menu. Unfortunately, the way AutoCAD is made back in 1982, hard disks were really, really small and computers were really, really slow. So the template file, acad.dwt, is minimum size and only has the continuous line type. Every time you load a line type to add it to your menu to be able to choose it for a layer, it fattens up the CAD file. Probably time I remeasure this, but I vaguely recall it's like 700 bits or bytes of data. Less than a kilobyte of data. So if you load all the line types, you're gonna, even if you don't use them, just loading the line types to populate your menu of loaded line types is gonna swell up your file unnecessarily. At any rate, from this menu, which you would choose available line types, click the load menu. I'm sorry, the load button. And it routes to this acad.lin file. That's a text file. You can go in there and hack it, create your own line types. I don't get into that in the introduction or in any of the levels of classes. But check it out. You can, there's who knows how many, 50 or so different line types you can load to make available to assign the layers. Let's see, Ahmed is with us. I'll admit Ahmed. For this class, I suggest the 3 center line flavors. I'll show you the difference in a second. Hold the control button and you can select multiple ones. And Aaron is joining us. Or click one, hold the shift button and click the bottom one. Control or shift to select multiple layers. Click OK. Click OK to bail out. Now you've got continuous as well as those 3 flavors of line types you just loaded. Okay, let me show you the other way that I just came across. I don't know how long it's been in AutoCAD. We'll cancel out of this. We'll close the layer control dialog box, and by typing LT, or simply for line type, you're ready to load line types this way as well. The more I think of it, I don't see it being any easier than the going through the layer property manager dialog box. LT enter will get you to load line types as well. Let me bail out, go back to layer properties. We'll assign the 0 layer. Well, it's a bad idea. Probably wise to keep 0 layer continuous. Let's create a new layer. We'll call it, say, center. We'll assign the layer center color red. It's like the chart over here for page 6-1 says. The center layers are all red, and the hidden layers, all 3 flavors of hidden, are cyan. That's just what I've been using. Every company has a different standard. Architects are pretty good at making standards, but I don't think mechanical parts have quite got a good grasp of standard yet. Anyway, we'll assign the color red to the center layer. And now that we've got some line types loaded, we'll click the word continuous, and up pops our layer, our menu of loaded line types. I'll select center line type because I just named the layer center. So I'll select center line type to be assigned to the center layer. Click OK, and there we've populated the layer named center to be red colored and use the center line type. Okay. Again, we'll click a new one, center 2, which incidentally, in a second, you'll see center 2 has got shorter long lines, gaps, and short lines. We'll assign center 2 also the red color. We'll assign center 2 layer the center 2 line type. You can get a little bit of a what you see is what you get here. Now, this isn't quite a plot preview, but you can see center is kind of the average. Long gap, short gap, long gap, kind of a Morse code pattern. Center 2 has got shorter lines and slightly shorter gaps. And center X2, which you'll see in a second, has got longer lines and longer gaps. Now, unfortunately, these are not in alphabetical order that I'd like them to be. Where are we? Center 2, we'll select center 2 to be on the layer named center 2. And then similarly, create a layer named center X2. And this is the long lines, generally used for long or large circles. We'll assign it center X2. But again, the line type that's got just a simple name with no 2 and no X2 after it, that line type is kind of the average length of line space, long line space, short line space, long line space, Morse code on and on. Center X2 is super long and center 2 is shorter than center. So I kind of wish they'd appear in alphabetical order on layer lists, starting with center 2 first, then center X2. So you'd remember that center 2 is for small circles, center is for nominal or average circles, and center X2 is for large circles. I'm tempted to put center A, center A2, center A, X2. I'm sorry, center, force an alphabetical order. Anyway, we'll set one layer, we'll set the center X2 layer current by double clicking on the center X2 layer or clicking on the green check mark with center X2 layer selected. We'll close our dialog box and there's our long lines, short, long line, gap, short line, gap, long line. Going to center 2, the shortest of the 3. And there you see you got to really zoom in to see the long line, gap, short line, gap, long line. And similarly, the simple center is between those two. I'll put center between these two. And you can see center X2 for long, center, the simple name for average, and center 2 for short. Now, in these cases, you can literally count the short lines and use them as a measuring tape. There's a mathematical equation for a given length of line. How many short gaps are going to be in the given length of line? And if the line is on center X2 layer, there's few short lines. If it's on center layer, there's an average number. And if it's on center 2 layer, there's lots of short lines. So again, it's possible to use these line types as tape measures, but nobody does. Okay, let me go to the center line layer I got. Here's the samples similar to what I just shown. Center 2 is for, has short lines, short long lines, and short lines. You get the idea. For a length of line, you got multiple repetitions of the pattern. Center has got fewer repetitions than center 2. And center X2 has even got fewer repetitions than center. Okay, from experimenting, the smallest circle that you can make with the smallest center line flavor is a 0.88 diameter circle. That's, the center line, you like to have a little plus sign in the middle of the circles to indicate where the machinist will strike with the center punch. So in all circles, you should have a plus sign in there. What I do for this case, I got to make current the center layer. So I'm using the center 2 layer so that I'm drawing with the center 2 line type. So after having set current the center 2 layer to use the center line 2 line type, I'll just O-snap from quadrant to quadrant, and there's my center line. Now it's too early to complain that, hey, there's no short line in this center 2 line type line. Well, that's because it's not long enough yet to be able to display the short red line. My standard, and I don't know anybody else that does this, is when you're trying to put the crosshairs in the center of a circle, just go quadrant to quadrant, scale this line up by a factor of 1.3. 1.3, enter. That way the whisker that sticks outside of the circle is proportional. If the line is 1.3 times the diameter, then each of these whiskers is 0.15 of the diameter. A little more than 1/8 of the diameter is sticking out. So a big circle, you'd want 1/8 of the diameter sticking out, which would be a longer length than a short circle. Okay, now this next step is the main reason why I like the 45-degree polar tracking angle. Remember, we got it set for 45 degrees. You had insert on for grading. I still owe a couple of you. Let's see. Aaron, I graded yours and it's perfect. Aaron's with us, right? Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Elizabeth, I think I graded and returned yours. I don't believe I've gotten to Anna or Ali's week 5 homework yet. So I'll try to catch up on tonight and nitpick the week 5 that I still haven't. Ahmed, I don't believe I've received yours yet. Have I?
No, I still have to send it in.
Not a problem. Glad you're keeping busy. getting back to getting the vertical line, you could go quadrant to quadrant, scale it and all that. But once you got one, the right length, you got the warm and fuzzy, it's got just the one dash in the middle to make your plus sign. Check it out. I'll mirror this center line about a 45-degree line, and that'll create the second center line. And go either any direction in 45 degrees. And there's a perfect crosshairs in the middle of the circle. Make one, and again, don't look for the plus sign in the middle until you've got it the right length. The largest circle in your drawing should use center X2. And the largest circle is 6.07 units. So the three line types will work for any size circle, provided the biggest is 6.9 times the smallest circle, almost 7. So if you're given a machine part that's got the smallest hole, say a tenth of the largest hole, you're going to need something else besides the three line types. And I'll show you how to do that a little later. Everybody with me so far? For repetition, I'll erase this line type. I'll go to the center X2 layer. Now, I'll have to admit, I'm not sure professionally how many professionals use multiple layers, but I think it's good exercise, for, learning layers. If you have a line type for each layer, three layers of center lines using the three flavors. Let's see, make sure got center X2 current. So I'll be drawing red lines with the center X2 flavor. That's interesting. The math might be off. It was not.
Excuse me.
Yes, Dan.
It's Dan. Yes. So I've been using scale a lot on the line types when have these types of lines in a view, and I can't see that it's a center line. It looks like it's solid. Is it wrong, or is that just a different method? Or
when you say view, you're talking about a layout with a viewport on a.
Yes.
Okay, that's an intermediate topic. Get with me during a break. I think what you want to do is set PSLT scale enter to 1. And that way magic happens and the line looks as if it was literally drawn on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So it ignores the drawing scale, and the number of gaps or the number of repetitions will be as if that line were 3 all the way up to 8.5 by 11. You with me? PSLT scale set to, I believe it's 1.
Yeah. Okay. Let's try that.
That reminds me, this LT, I think you stepped in a hair late. I'm sorry, Dan, you were with us, but LT does have this checkbox here in the lower left.
Yeah.
I believe that checkbox controls the system variable LT scale. Because it's checked, and I don't believe it's checked by default. Well, now that I think of it, I used a default template, didn't I? Let's check it out. I got to close this to check it out. PSLT scale And that's set to 1, which is the way probably you want it. I'll change PSLT scale to 0 and go back to LT, and the check is, it's unchecked now.
Yeah.
So I believe you, if you're using layouts and viewports, I think you want it to have a check mark, and that way the number of gaps is a function of how long the line prints out on paper, not how long the line is in reality.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you also show how to use a line as a measuring tool? I didn't see that, how you did that earlier.
Well, I never have. Let's see. Let's say the pattern is 1 long and 1 short. You do a DI. Next week we'll learn the distance command, DI. It's up here on, there it is, on the utilities panel. We call it measure, but it's launching the distance, or the DI command. Just eyeballing it. It looks like the repeated pattern is almost 1.3 inches. So count the number of the number of repetitions, multiply by 1.3. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-ish.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And 9 times 1.3 should be the length of these lines. 11.7 I got. Let's check the length of this line. And maybe I should have subtracted. I got 11.2-ish. What did I say? 11.7 it should have been?
Yep.
So maybe I miscounted, or there's a little bit of fluctuation. You know, if I stretch this line a hair, I got to stretch it some distance before the next repetition of the cycle appears.
Yep.
Okay, there's about a 1-to-1 scale. Let me just type in, say, 1.2. Ah, rats, I should have left it. I should have copied it.
So it's basically more accurate to just use the measure command.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Another little, years ago I made this graphic. You know, as your center line gets longer, eventually it's long enough to show 1 repetition. And factoring in that the line type, you know, Burgener standard is the center line is 1.3 times the diameter. I figure the smallest circle that you can make with the center 2 line type is that 0.88. But check it out, the line gets longer and longer and longer, and that, you know, messes up the measuring tape. I guess there's kind of a, you know, a fudge factor, but eventually greater than 1.70, the line pops into 2 repetitions. Okay. So center 2 line type is good for circles between 0.88 and 1.7 diameter. Similar, there's a range for the center line type. And center X2, the long line type, is good for 3.12 diameter, all the way to 6.07 diameter. Okay. So say you got, so again, the ratio is, well, let's use the exact circles here. I'll draw a circle, use the toolbars as I taught. The center diameter, we'll make the diameter 0.88, and I'm on the wrong layer. And then we'll make another diameter, another circle center diameter of 1.7. I'll move these to the object layer. You know, again, it's bad practice to put anything on the 0 layer. You know, textbooks have you put the title block on. But, you know, anyway, click on object. Now, what happens if you got a line that's, how to put this? You know, the center 2 line type ought to be able to put the bullseye in both of these circles because of this rubber zone between the diameters of the circle. Center X2 has a minimum and a maximum also. So let me copy. You got these 2 circles. With the 3 line types, you can make the perfect crosshairs in both of these circles. Now, what happens if your drawing happens to be twice as big? Well, now the bigger one is outside of the range of the center X2 line type. There's no way of using a simple red line that you'll have a single plus sign in the middle. It'll turn into long, short, long, short, long. It will be 2 short lines, not a single short line in the middle. Okay. This is where we can magically pour steroid into our drawing and bulk up all the broken line types. Okay, that's done with the LT scale system variable. I can't remember if this is on an options dialog box. But check it out. I'll type LTS or LT scale, enter. And this is the global steroid. So if I double it, say 2, enter, it's like all the long lines are going to be twice as long now. Let me draw, I'm on the center X2 layer, so I'll draw across. Now, I'm not sure why, you know, I would have thought with my dimensions there would not be a short line there, but I think any shorter and it'll disappear. Yeah, making a liar out of me. Wow. Okay, I got to really, okay, I'm sorry. This is the biggest circle that can have a single line type. Much longer, and it's making a liar out of me. I think what I'm confusing myself because I keep forgetting the 1.3 factor. We'll scale that by a factor of 1.3. Hello. Type 1,3. Scale. Select my object, base point, dead center, midpoint of the red line, scale factor 1.3. Now anything longer will pop it into 2 short segments. Anyway, getting back. Now notice, these two circles I scaled by a factor of 2 in order to use the 3 line types. So you change the center to the short or the small circle line type. I'll scale it by a factor of 1.3. And then I'll mirror each to get the bullseye. Hello. Stand by. All right, Burgener. Scale, select, enter, midpoint. I'm sorry, mirror. I should be doing mirror, select, enter, midpoint, up a 45. So with LT scale of 2, I can use the 3 line types for a circle that's 12 units instead of 6 point something units. Check it out.
Excuse me, Dan.
Yes.
So I was real curious. I've been making drawings with AutoCAD now, and I wanted to do this very exact thing. And I found this command called centerline cross. Have you ever used that?
Yeah, that's a new feature. Let me see it. Whoops, there goes NanoCAD. Where is that? Annotate.
Yeah, so it's probably under an arrow underneath that one. Or no? Mine has it on for AutoCAD mechanical. It's right to the right of arc, and it has about 7 options underneath center line.
Well, there's some system variables you can type in. Now let me show you. Try to minimize time. But center mark, click on the circle, and it does put a center line. But the reason I dislike the vanilla AutoCAD method with the center mark tool is because this whisker is the exact same measured distance regardless of the circle size. Call me anal, but I want to have it proportion to the diameter.
Yeah, I know. I like the way that you do it because it looks aesthetically pleasing and it's proper.
I'll admit that if I was paying you by the hour, I don't know that I'd want you to do it my way because it is a little bit time intensive.
Oh yeah, but it was worth it though. It looks nice.
Thank you. My recommendation is build your portfolio and carry printouts of CAD drawings you've made professionally. And if you got the perfect bullseye and the proportional whiskers, I think it'll impress the hiring authority.
Yeah, and then we do that because the type of work we do, we can't put it in our pocket.
Good point.
Yeah, we could make a fake one and just not have it related to any ships. Thanks, Paul.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Maybe you can take some academic exercises. I'll give you a super impressive homework assignment. Anyway, I'm not familiar with AutoCAD mechanical, but maybe it's kind of got. I wonder if the fly out of icons sets the distance for the whisker.
I could just change the scale of it, but it never looks right and similar to the way that you created them manually. It just doesn't look perfect. It always has multiple dashed lines in it, and you try to make it look right, and it just doesn't come out right. And then you try to scale it, and it's a little frustrating. It does put the two lines in simultaneously with the overlap and everything in one step, but it still doesn't look great.
Now consider, Daniel, using multiple layers, and if you're getting multiple short lines, maybe change the line type of your layer. You with me?
I'm still trying to understand the whole concept of the line type of the layer and how scale mixes in with it. It seems like there's a couple variables that I'm not understanding how exactly it works.
I've never taken the time, but how to put this? The number of repetitions of the pattern is a function of three things, right? Maybe four things. First is the line type used by the layer, one of the three flavors. Obviously, the length of the line has a factor on how many repetitions. We just learned LT scale, the global steroid that swells up all broken line types. And in a second, I'll show you I like to call it the LT scale multiplier. If you've got a microscopic circle in the same drawing as a humongous circle, they exceed this ratio of, small to large. Then you can go to the LT scale multiplier, which is a property of the object.
That's the one I've been modifying.
I suspect a lot of CAD operators leave LT scale global steroid as 1, the default.
I've never heard of that, the global one.
Let me show you, getting slightly ahead of my script, but that's okay. I'll select these two. Remember, I got global LT scale set to 2 now, so this 0.88 circle isn't long enough to form a plus sign in the middle of the smallest circle. However, we can right-click, go to Properties, and this is where the global LT scale multiplier comes in.
But is that just for those two lines that you're modifying, or is it for every single line that's on that particular layer?
Just the selected line, the two selected lines.
Why do you call it global then? Global makes me think it's the whole drawing.
Well, I'm not explaining it well here. LT scale is a system variable that's global. It pours a bucket of steroids so that all your broken lines will bulk up by a factor of 2, 10, 1,000.
Yep. So it's applicable. It'll apply it to every single line that's a center line, and boom, it changes them all automatically.
Correct.
Yep, I get that.
Now, even though it looks like the identical word, in the property here,
It's just the one selected.
Correct. I wish they put the word multiplier here. Line type scale looks pretty close to LT scale, doesn't it? So
yeah.
I kind of would, I don't know if they'd listen to me, but there is a way to make suggestions for the next release of AutoCAD. Perhaps LT scale multiplier or LT scale factor should be the white text here instead of line type scale. So check it out. I'll change the line type scale multiplier for these two lines and nothing else to a factor of 2 and hit enter, and nothing happens. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, I should
gotta
make
make
it
it smaller.
half.
Yeah, smaller.
0.5, enter. So the 0.5 personally assigned within the properties of the selected line balances out the global LT scale bucket of steroid set to 2. What I'm getting at, and I rarely see mechanical drawings, you know, in architecture it's concrete and floor plans and stuff. And because of security reasons, I really can't nitpick shipyard drawings, but I suspect that LT scale global factor remains 1, and each and every center line has got a tweak here, like it's, you know, 0.25. There, you know, it's got 4. Change it to 0.1, it'll be, I think, 10. Nope, 5. You with me?
Yep.
So it's possible for each and every diameter of circle, you simply select the appropriate line type scale multiplier within properties for the selected lines.
Yeah, and from model space to paper space, it looks different depending on the scale of the viewport. So that's always something that is tricky. But that's probably a subject for more advanced down the road.
You're right. I usually think of the paper space and viewports issue applying to straight line or you know, lines that show the length of a cylinder rather than the diameter of a hole. And I'll have to study that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I need to study that a little more. I'm tempted to say if you got a single plus sign in your center lines for a hole in model space, I think it'll show a single plus sign in your huge circle through a viewport.
No, it changes based on the scale of the viewport. If the viewport was 1-to-1, then it would be the same. But as the viewport changes, the line type actually scales with it. So it messes. So what I ended up doing was I'll go into the paper space, and then through the paper space, I swap over to model space, looking through the paper space, and then change it so that it looks right.
Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah, it's a trick.
Okay, I was thinking maybe you encounter some drawings with that PSLT scale different.
I haven't touched that at all yet. Global scale. I haven't tried that. Today's the first day I learned about that. Thank you.
Let's I trust you'll sign up for intermediate, Dan, and if we get 10 people to sign up, we'll run intermediate. I think we're going to be online again, but I can't promise it. Anyway, this will be something we can study in greater depth, you know, when we learn viewports and paper space and layouts. So
okay.
Now there's always a cheating factor. Let me set LT scale global steroid back to 1. Now it's 2 because you know, every every gap and every line swelled up by a factor of 2. So I'll change it back to 1. I'm not proud of this, but it'll come out good on perfect. This is just a continuous line drawn on layer 0 that has continuous line assigned to it. But there is a jury rig. And again, I'm embarrassed to show you this, but I'm going to trim, select everything, whoop, trim, select everything, machine gun out these continuous lines, and erase the circles, and it looks perfect on the paper plot. And I believe you can copy this over and over in your drawing, and it'll scale. You know, here I'll scale it by, say, a factor of 3, and you know, it still has the plus sign in the middle. You know, that's another way, but it's, in my opinion, it's cheating. Let's see, I got 10 after 4. I want to take a 10-minute break, and then we'll work on the machine parts on page 6-1.
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay, anybody, let's take a 10-minute break. We'll reconvene, say, at 4:20. It's 4:08 now by my computer's clock, so we'll reconvene. We'll get 12 minutes. Reconvene at 4:20. Anybody want anything repeated during break? Again, I can't promise that industry does it my way, but my way makes them look excellent, and I think it gives you a good practice, you know, using layers and using line types.
Can you zoom in on that little chart that you created? I want to write down the diameters and the ranges for the 3 different center things.
Let me send me an email, and I'll email you the file.
Okay.
Is that rather than earlier I was listing the factors to determine how many repetitions a line has. Remember the line type of the layer, the length of the line, the global LT bucket of steroid over the entire drawing that affects all broken lines. And the last thing is the personal properties.
Yep.
When, you know, whatever you want to call that number in the properties dialog box for selected objects. Again, the AutoCAD calls it line type scale, but that is so close to looking like LT scale that, you know, it's easy to think they're identical. Where within the properties, it's a factor that is multiplied with the global LT scale. So for those 2 objects, the magic is the global LT scale times this factor within the properties of the object.
Yep.
Now, I don't think it's such an issue for the hidden line types.
Well, sometimes, yeah, the dashed lines don't show up in viewports that I created, and I have to play with the scale on those too.
I understand, but nobody's going to care if a hidden line has got 8
Yeah, that's right.
dashes or 12 dashes. You know,
Yeah,
as long as you can see the dashes, right?
Right. Yeah, the precision doesn't have to be the same as a circle.
Right. With the, again, you know, call me anal, but I like circles to have that plus sign in the middle. And again, there's some automatic ways with dimensioning, but then you lose the whisker being proportional to the diameter. I don't know. I see a lot of, I shouldn't say a lot, but I think even your textbook, where's the textbook? I bet even your textbook has got circles that have multiple, or that do not have a plus sign in the middle. Here I just happened to open up to exercise number 6. And the center lines of the large circle to the left have got 2 short lines instead of 1 short line. So that results in a huge plus sign in the middle. Not a perfect little one.
Yeah, you're right. I don't like on example 8, it doesn't look that good either.
You're right. And flip a few more pages, say to 14 and 15, and all they do is put the plus sign without the wings,
dash.
you know.
Yeah, it's supposed to be dot dash.
Right. 14 and 15, I believe, were made by the dimension style. How to put this? When we create, we'll learn dimension styles. I think week number 8, and you can, for radius and diameter dimensions, you can have it put a plus sign in the middle of your circles or nothing in the middle of your circles, or you can rig it so it puts the entire bullseye set. But again, you're kind of stuck with a carved in stone whisker length. So let me get some more ice water. I'll be back in a second then.
Yep.
Latches. Okay, still got a few minutes left to break. Anybody? I think you'll get a better understanding when we finish the green lines of our machine part at the bottom of page 6-1. Now, I'll have to admit, depending on which exercises we select to complete, before midnight Saturday, how to put this, if, we may or may not be able to put them on the same drawing without using the personal properties line type scale multiplier. These two on page 6-1, they're, one's 6 inches long, the other's 7 inches long. So then I used LT scale of 1 for both. So those two can be on the same drawing. But, when you get into machine parts that are, 50, 100, 500 units big, all bets are off. You either got to tweak the personal properties and the, for the objects, or put them on separate drawings. Let's see. Okay, 44 is about 250 units long. Nope, 44 is not one on the list, is it? Well, after we decide which two we draw, I'll determine whether they can be on the same file or not. I'd really like them to be on the same file, so it's less to email and less to look at. Okay, I got 4:20. Everybody back from break?
Yep.
Is anybody back? Let me double check. I hope I haven't left somebody unadmitted. Still haven't figured out how to let you in without me having to click something. Okay. Let me take a pic of our attendance, because I'm going to forget who's here. And I understand Sally and possibly others are going to come in later. All right, let's start a brand new start from scratch drawing and do one or both of the exercises on page 6-1. Let's just do the first one. First mission is to complete all the green lines and place them on the object layer with a slightly heavy line weight. Yeah, the screen capture of the layer properties manager dialog box says object should be 0.5 millimeter. So it'll be twice as fat as all of them that are set to default, which I I know by default is 0.25. Again, you can set default to higher or lower. Don't know if that's necessary. Probably was started back in the pen plotter days, where you literally had magic markers moving to draw your lines on the paper. Close center lines. And again, Dan, send me an email. I'll try to remember, but you know, when you get my age, you know. So.
All right, I'll send you an email.
We'll start a new drawing. Since nobody's altered my AutoCAD, I'm confident it's a start from scratch using acad.dwt. As always, I'll turn off the status bar buttons that the marketing department insists I can't live without. And for good measure, I'll double check. I got polar tracking set for 45. And I got Burgener's 5 favorites in the object snaps. Got all status bar buttons visible. So there shouldn't be any surprises. Okay, let's start with the front view. The view that's got most of the dimensions on. I got to make the layers, don't I? I'll start object. We'll assign it color green. Leave it continuous. Change the line weight to 0.5 millimeters so it plots out fatter on the paper, because the object is the most important thing on the paper. So everything else should be slightly finer or fainter color. We'll start, let's do the 3 center lines. I believe you use all, I think you'll use, no, maybe not. I think the second one on the page, the lower one, you'll need to use multiple center line layers. But the circles look pretty close together for the top exercise. Anyway, we'll call center. Why is that not? Oh, come on. Rename. There we go. Center. I'll change it to red. Click OK. I'll set it back to default line weight. And we go here again to look at the menu of line types, but being a start from scratch, no thrills, acad.dwt, you know, standard no options car, stick shift and no air and all. We got to load line types. So I'll load the 3 flavors of center line. Click the top one, hold shift, click the bottom one to select all of them from top to bottom with the shift key. And while I'm in here, much as I like repetition for training's sake, I'm going to include these 3. I'm using the control button. I don't think the shift would deselect the 3, but I know holding the control button will add the 3 in. So I'm loading all 6 of them now in the same step. All the three layers of center lines and the 3 layers of hidden lines. Click OK. And for center, we want to select the center line type, the average of the 3 flavors. Click OK. From here on, with center layer selected, the color is going to apply to the new layers created. Again, the selected layer is kind of a clone for the new layer. So I'll make another one, center 2. Well, again, I wish they were in alphabetical order. Well, I'm creating them in alphabetical order. I wish they were in order by the size of the long lines. Click the line type. I want center 2 layer. And click center capital X2. You know, case really makes no difference, but looks impressive if you're consistent. Assign center X2 for the largest circles. And while I'm in here, I'll create 3 hidden layers, though I believe I can live with just one. Let's see, Burgener standard is cyan for hidden, and again, every company probably has a different standard for hidden lines and different standard for center lines. I'll assign the hidden layer the hidden line type. Click new, hidden 2, change to hidden 2 line type, and hidden X2 for the really big lines for hidden lines. So far, so good. You know, eventually we'd want to put a dimensions layer, and when we get into the intermediate topics of the layouts and viewports, you know, I like to have a viewports layer that's rigged so it will not plot out. There's a column, refresh your memory on the, you know, there's a column to plot or not to plot. And, so anyway, we'll set current the object layer, double click on it or select it and click the green check mark to set it current. Or after the fact, we can close that and set it current from this drop-down list. Let's go ahead and start on the front view. That's longest line is 6. And I'm tempted to use my keyboard type in 2 to the top. And let's see, this line again, this one is 1 1/4. And it comes over 4. And it goes down. And I'll copy this 2 unit line. Actually, probably be better if I only copy the 2 unit line. All right, a little bit harder than I thought, but that's okay. I'll move the end to the intersection. Line across the top. Okay. I just drew this line. I'll move it. Better yet, I'll E for erase. I'm going to copy that line straight down 0.5. No, 3/4. I'm looking at the front view, the lower of the two views, the one with 3/4 of the dimensions on it. 2 minus 1.25 is 0.75. Enter. I could have just snapped there. All right. It's debatable whether I should have dimensioned it, but that circle is well centered in the 2x2 square. So I can draw a diagonal and put the circle in the midpoint of that diagonal. It's dimensioned 1 unit diameter. So I'll go to center diameter icon on the circle flyout. Snap at the midpoint. And what I say, 1 unit. The 3 are 0.75 units. So let me draw some construction lines here. 1, 2, okay, I'm confusing the copy command with the line command. Each of these is a 1 unit long, so I'll copy this 1 unit line 2 more times. So now I got some endpoints where I can locate circles. I'll draw a circle center diameter. Mm, 1.75, enter. I could copy it, possibly. Hello. Okay, I forgot to change the. I hit enter. I should use the icon again. Diameter 0.75, enter. And circle diameter 0.75, enter. Erase the garbage. And I'll trim, enter. That out of the way. Yep. And I'll erase these 3 lines I drew. And that completes the front view. Now the top view lines right to left should line up with the centers of the circles and the corners of the green lines. So being incredibly lazy, I'm going to draw a guideline, and it might be more impressive to put these on a layer named construction. But I'll use these lines like they're chalk lines, and anticipating the dimensions, I'll draw a line, I'll trim it away. I'll trim it away. Erase. Okay, I'll draw a line all the way across. We'll move, enter, the last thing, L, enter. Something went wrong. Move, L, enter. Found the last thing I created. That's all I want to move. I'll hit enter. 2 minus 1 is 1, so I'll move it 1 unit up. And I'll copy copy, not move it 1 unit up. I need a line straight across here. So I'll copy, where's copy? Copy it. Again, 0.5 unit up. And I'll trim away the garbage. And erase that guy. Okay, circle. I'll trim the green line, so I'll have a green line that'll eventually turn into a red center line. Trim, enter, F for fence, being incredibly lazy. And keep trimming. That's all I can do. Whoops. Trim, enter, click, and erase. Okay, I'll offset this line, which will eventually become a red center line, I believe on the center layer, not center 2. Where's offset? Offset, half of 1 is 0.5, so I'll offset it each direction 0.5. Okay, trim what will eventually become hidden lines. I'll move this to the center layer, because it looks like it's a little bit longer than the bullseye targets in the front view. Might need center X2. I'll try center 2 to begin with. I'll scale it by a factor of 1.3. And I need hidden lines. Oh, I need to offset these 3 as well. They are 3/4, so I want to offset them 3/8, which is 0.375. Offset, set the offset distance to 0.375, enter. And machine gun each way. Now the center ones, I want to move to the center 2 layer. I want to scale them a hair longer. You know, again, don't count the gaps until it's the perfect length. Hello. Let's undo. Scale, select, enter. Base point 1.3, enter. I'll copy this guy. Probably should have left these ones green, but that's okay. I'll copy them to there, and then I will erase the green lines underneath using a regular selection set window. All of these should be one of the hidden layers. And I'm gonna guess the average of the 3. Yeah. Look, appears to match my handout. The handout has 3 cyan lines. So I believe I chose the proper layer to mimic the handout. Up, got two more center lines, or I'm sorry, hidden lines to do. Now these are going to be a hair shorter. I want to have two lines, so I'm going to guess center 2, so the ink lines are shorter. Okay, looks like I gambled and lost. The handout only has 2 lines, so I'll put them on the hidden layer. I can erase all these remnants from the construction. I'll place one line. Carelessly was on the wrong layer. I'll change it to, I believe, center 2. Don't worry about that small gap in the middle until it's the right length. I'll scale this one by a factor of 1.3, enter. Ew, why did it not? Center 2 line type. On the LT scale multiplier. Well, let me scale it a hair longer. I'm at a loss on why my handout. Move it to center 2 for short line. And I'll scale it by a factor of 1.4. Why is it not showing the break?
This is where I would just scale it.
Interesting. I'm going to lose sleep over this tonight. 1.1. Okay, the whiskers are far, far longer than the handout. I'll have to check my original. I wonder if I carelessly assigned a line type or line type scale multiplier within the properties. I won't take time to open it up, but I've used this exercise, half a dozen classes. I'm surprised it took me this long to notice. Anyway, I'll mirror this into a 45 degrees.
Yeah, but didn't you do the global scale of 2 earlier? Or maybe it's still set to 2.
I started a brand new drawing. I believe it's
Oh,
still set at, it's set at 1 for a brand new drawing. Launch the mirror, select it. And again, the whiskers, a hair. Hello, why did that? Okay, I forgot that last question of the mirror command.
This isn't meeting the Burgener standard here. I'm not liking it.
Yeah. Maybe next break I'll open up my official copy. Anyway, I'll O-snap. Hey, did I not select both lines? Now, like the handout, there is no gap between the circles. And just for good measure, I'll set this Scale it by 1.3. Mirror it. And getting a little picky now, but I'll move them. Since I ain't got no dimensions, I can have them closer together. They had to be far apart to make room for the dimensions. Till we learn dimensions, I don't have to make room. I think we're done with the top exercise.
What do those dashed lines represent, Paul, in the diameter 1, but in the plan view?
You mean the cyan colored lines, or?
No, they're green dashed lines running parallel to the length of the cylinder for the 1-inch diameter hole.
These guys?
Yeah, but on the handout, they're dashed.
Oh,
like-
okay, I'm sorry. In the handout, I created a layer called construction, and had tiny little dotted lines for the chalk lines.
Yeah.
I guess I did that as kind of a hint to students to make some chalk lines.
Okay.
And I probably used a unique layer. I think there's a dot layer. Yeah, I probably used one of these dot flavors. And that way, by putting all my chalk lines on a unique layer, I can simply freeze the chalk line layer.
Yeah.
Rather
it's not
than trim away.
So it's a regular line, not a construction line.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
For the rest of the class, there is a construction line tool. And I think when I learned AutoCAD in release, was it 11? Back in the early 90s, I don't think this was around, so I really didn't, I learned to draw without it, but check it out. With this, you can just specify 2 points, and the line goes on forever. Well, what about zoom and extents? Well, when you double-click the zoom extents, it disregards the infinite length of construction lines. And I don't know, I've talked to some instructors, what do we do when I see octagons? Regen. Coming up 5. Let's go do the second one. Okay, we'll set current the object layer. Draw line 7 units. And I'll copy or offset it 4 units up to make the top line. I'm going to run out of space, so I'll move them both down. Let's see, the big arc is 4 units diameter. And again, some people might say, the center of this arc is not located, but I'm confident it was created from the center of this hole, which is perfectly in line with the green lines to the side. So we'll launch center diameter, go to the midpoint, and that arc is 4. And the circle is a diameter of 1. Put object lines at the end. I'll trim away, enter, so everything's a cutting edge. And I'll erase that guy. I'll start with the center line. Double checking, yeah, I believe it goes, from midpoint to midpoint. And we'll create, that one looks like it's going to need a long line. So I'm going to guess it's center X2 to create that. Go from midpoint to midpoint. Scale it by a factor of 1.3. No, let me offset it first so I don't have to trim the hidden lines later. Let's see. I offset it half a unit for the through hole and 1 unit for the counter bore at each end. So offset, set the offset to 0.5 and hit enter. Hit enter to finish the offset command. Hit enter to invoke the last used command and set it the offset distance to 1 and hit enter. And offset the same. Let's see, the counter bore is 1 unit deep. So while I got offset set to 1, I'll offset the green lines in for the counter bore. Now let's see. Looks like I'm using the same or slightly smaller line type, hidden line. Let me try hidden 2. Probably ought to redo this with all the hidden lines on the exact same layer. Hidden line is current line, and now I'll just trace over these. Hitting enter between each line. Erase all the garbage. Now I'll scale this guy. Oh, let me erase the green lines that I used for chalk lines. Scale the center, right down the center line of the hole by a factor of 1.3. Let me demonstrate that construction line method. I see I got fine dotted lines between the front view and the right side view. I wish I could zoom in on this PDF, but haven't figured out how to do that yet for some reason. But there should be an ever so slight white space between this red line and the object line. And that is to indicate the center line of the hole. You can see the hidden line of the top and bottom quadrants of the hole, but it's tempting to put a center line directly on top of the object line, but there is an order of priority. Object line is always most important. I believe center line is next important. And then hidden line is least important. So if this happened to coincide with an object line, a center line, and a hidden line, I don't believe the hidden line would be drawn at all. Anyway, let's go to the construction layer. I'll load, while I'm in here, I'll load all three of the dot layers. And I'll pick the average of the three. It's plain word dot. Click OK, set current, close layers, machine gun. By the way, there's another quick and dirty command called ray, which saves you a little bit of movement. Instead of drawing 2 points for the line, you just, well, the ray goes in one direction forever. So I gotta, rather than copying one, anyway, just another way of doing it. Okay, we'll start. Yeah, midpoint's as good as any. I can move it later. Hello. We move to the object line, set the object layer current, offset it 2.75. I'll connect the dots across the top and bottom. Enter to finish, enter to begin the line command again. I'll connect the dots here. And I'll eventually change it to a red line, but I'll start with green and offset it up and down twice. No. I'll offset it 1 unit. No. I'm sorry. Okay, the hidden lines, I forgot to put a little notch here in the bottom. That's one of the hidden lines across the bottom, and then the top hidden line is the bottom of the circle. So,
Yeah, I thought something was missing, but I thought you got it.
Obviously, I didn't practice this before the class. I'm going to put a 2 radius. Whoa, what happened there? Okay, I was still on circle diameter. Circle radius, 2 enter. Circle radius again, 2 enter. So what I want are these 2 intersections. So lines start at quadrant of the circle, go up 3/4, which I think is going to coincide with the existing. Nope, didn't. My bad. We'll overdraw it. We'll draw a line up again. We'll trim away and erase garbage. And erase. Oh, forgot to trim that guy. I'll copy the dotted line. Right there, this should be a hidden line. Go to hidden 2 to match the handout. And while I'm in the hidden 2 layer and line command, I'll hit enter, and machine gun some lines. Need to make a couple of circles. I believe they're both dimensioned by diameter, so center diameter. No snap at the midpoint. Should have set the right layer current. 1 unit diameter, and I believe, I hit enter, forgetting that I don't need the circle command. I need the circle center diameter icon. Again, when you're using these flyouts, that hitting enter to invoke the last command isn't good enough. So until you learn the options from the keyboard, anyway, click middle, and what I say 2. We'll select these and move them to object. We'll convert this green to, I'm guessing, center. We'll scale it. Hit escape to finish. And scale it by a factor of 1.3, enter. We'll mirror it about a 45-degree line. Okay, my bad. Yeah, let me start over again. I should have drawn the red lines from quadrant to quadrant. Quadrant. Move them to center. Hit escape to deselect. Scale, center point, 1.3, enter. Notice it just barely fits. Maybe a little less than 1.3 would look better. And we'll mirror baseline, make sure I don't accidentally get on an endpoint or an intersection. And we want to change this to a center line, and we want to scale it by a factor of 1.3, enter. I'll move everything closer until we learn dimensioning. And easy enough to erase these construction lines, but unlikely event, maybe I'll need them again, so I'll just freeze the construction layer. Dun, 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 dun. Move things around so it matches the handout a little better. Move them down a hair. Actually, since they're different parts, anyway. 5 after 5. Now again, this line, if you zoom out a hair, it's hard to see those dashes. I'm going to move them all to the larger hidden line layer, so the white spaces are easier to see. I forgot the object line across here. I'll go to make current the object layer, draw a green line over the center. I'll erase the red line, go to any of the red colored layers, draw a slight whisker out. I guess it should be, the 1.3 should apply, but I'm too lazy to do that. Now check it out. I'll move this guy to apply a slight white space there. And the textbooks will tell you that means there's a center line that coincides with the object line. I'll mirror that little whisker about the center line of the object line. Now I believe we're finished. Up! Spoke too soon. Got to put the bullseye here. That's a small circle, so I'll go to the small center lines layer. Quadrant to quadrant. Scale it up by 1.3 and mirror it about a 45-degree line. Now, some people might say the center line should go past this arc, but you don't want the center line to go onto the object line. So I'm not sure what the textbooks would say in this situation. What happened to my whisker there? Mirror, select, enter, center line, there. Now don't follow me with this, but hypothetically say these things get to be 10 times as large as they are. I'm going to scale everything by a factor of 10 and change the LT scale global steroid to 10. And you'll see the plus signs come back. Before I scale it, I want to thaw my construction layer. Otherwise, I might as well erase the construction layer. Launch scale, select everything, enter, base point 10, enter. Now check it out. I got way too many short lines in the red center lines. Way too many dashes that you can't tell it's a hidden line. When you look at the entire drawing at the same time. So let's simply change LT scale. LTS is a shortcut from 1 to 10, and it'll look identical to as it was. Take another break. Hearing no answers either way, let's tell me which exercises you want to do. By the way, if I want to make these three match the handout, again, this is kind of cheating. With all 6 center lines selected, I can go to the properties. Oh, I need to scale them though, don't I? Yep. I'll erase 4 of them. Scale this guy so it's the length of the handout. What happened? Scale. I think 0.77 is the opposite of 1.3. I'll copy these crosshairs to the others, or better yet, I'll set the LT scale modifier factor in the personal properties for these two entities lower. Right click, properties, change it to say 0.75, I'm guessing. See how that looks. And I'll copy the pair of lines from the center of one circle to the center of the other two and hit enter to finish the rats. Now I don't have the red line between them there. Well, don't tell anybody. I'll just airbrush in a couple of red lines to match the handout. Yeah, I don't think I quite scaled it correctly. The whiskers about midway between the circle and the line. Forgive me, but let me open up my master copy and see how I did that. Regen. Yep, I cheated. I changed the personal property LT scale modifier factor, whatever you call it, to 0.5. Let me make a note. I'll fix it for the next class. All right. No, let's pick a couple at random. How about 45 and 85? Any objections? Now let's decide if there's no objections to those two. Let's see if they're comparable sizes, like football size. If they're about the same amount of paper to create each, then we might be able to put them both on the same drawing.
One has a unit of 44 max, and the other one has a unit of 128 max.
Okay. How about let's put them on the same drawing, keep global LT scale as unity. You want to use just one centerline layer and change the personal property of each and every centerline accordingly?
Yeah, that's fine.
Again, that I really don't know what's popular in industry. So let's do that. One layer of centerline. We'll assign that layer the center line type, the average of the 3 flavors. And then each and every line is going to have a personal property greater than 1, I believe. Now remember, let's try to be consistent. Let's start a brand new drawing. Close, shut off the annoying status bar, double check, should not change, but double check my polar tracking and those snapper set. Just for good measure, I'll double check I got all status bar buttons visible. So nothing could be invisible but on. Mess me up. Okay, I hope everybody's got the textbook by now. Is that a safe assumption?
We have it.
Okay,
Sally.
I have it.
thank you. All right, if you don't, email me and I'll send you a pic of the page or PDF my completed copy. But again, be fair to the publishers of the book. I'd like you to buy the book. Where are we? 45. It's on page 34. I got a couple of glitches. That 37 in the middle probably should be 34, so the right and left sides are identical. You want to make it like the book or make the right and left sides identical? Let's make the right and left sides identical. Let's change the 37 dimension kind of bottom center and change it to 34. And I believe my errata sheet says that. Holes in base are 18 units from each end. Yep, that's a missing dimension. What else is there? 37 at the bottom should be 34 to make symmetric. I would have thought the author of the book would, since it's so close, I would think he or she meant to make it symmetric. But that 18 units, I'll show you where that is when we get there. That's definitely a missing dimension. Hopefully next printing of the book, they'll fix that. I'll shut this down. Let's start dead center with the circles. Let's start the, do we want to make all the layers again? I think I closed without saving that last drawing, so it looks like I don't have much of a choice. Go ahead and erase or rename your current drawing since you got all those layers built. Rename it to first name space WK6 space 45 space ampersand 85.
Excuse me, Paul, couldn't you just take and open one of your previous files that had those layers built and copy a couple elements and it'll copy all the information for them?
Good point. Using the Windows clipboard, you mean, right?
Yes.
Okay. Hopefully I got to week 6. Now that I think of it, I already got the drawing open. Duh. Yeah, here it is. Incidentally, in intermediate class, we learned to use Design Center, which is a little, it's similar to just copy pasting from the Windows clipboard, but I think it's more elegant, using an official AutoCAD command instead of Windows clipboard. But you're right, just go in here in the middle, right click, pick clipboard, copy with base point. For some reason, I don't trust copy. I think it's unpredictable where it comes into your drawing.
You could type in copy base also. Same thing.
Copy base?
Yeah.
Never heard that.
Gonna spell it.
Okay. Copy base. Enter. Interesting. I didn't know that. Base point dead center. Row snap to a center. That's okay. Select objects. Select everything and hit enter. Go to our new drawing. Can I type paste?
Control V is what I always do.
You're right. Control V. Why did the...
Looks like somebody went away.
I wonder if do I have the object layer locked, maybe? No. That's something else to lose sleep on. Anyway, with the possible exception of the object layer came in white.
That's odd.
Yeah, let me tell me I didn't. Okay, the object layer is green. And the property of that object, tell me I didn't assign it color. No. It's acting as if it, anyway. Pretend you didn't see that. Pay no attention to the man behind the, anyway, we'll change the object layer to green. And we got a couple of center lines.
I think what happened was you already had an object layer in the current session, so it just merged the two.
That
you
could be.
You had zero and object. There was 2 of them in there.
Interesting. You're
Mystery
right.
solved.
Yeah, the drawing that receives the stuff governs when there's a difference in layer properties.
That's logical.
You're right. Yep. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we'll erase everything. I don't believe I can use anything. Maybe the text. And we do have a hidden layer, and we do have a center layer. Later, we can purge out the center 2 layer with the purge command. I believe you can delete it manually from the dialog box too. Let's find out. Click delete layer, and if there's nothing on the layer, you can delete it. I'll leave construction, may or may not use it. All right, 45, let's start with the big circles. The bigger one is done with a radius, so we'll start with center and radius. Notice I'm on layer 0, should have been on object, but I'll fix that later. 30, enter. Hello. There it is. Circle center diameter, hover on the circumference, snap in the middle. The small circle in the middle is 45 and hit enter. The base is 35 units below the center of these circles. So I'll draw a line, hover around the circumference and send it 35 down. Rats. I messed up. It drifted off of polar tracking. Right click, undo. Be more careful. 35, enter. The base is 128. Rather than doing arithmetic to divide by half, I'll draw 128 and move it to the midpoint. 28, enter, enter, move. Drop bar. And we can offset this guy, humma humma 10 and 13 upward. Offset, space 10. Enter to finish, enter to invoke the last use command, change the setting to 13, enter, pick the same line there. And we'll put lines at the ends, enter, enter. All right, here's where the 18 comes in. I'm going to copy or offset this line 18 units to the left to define the center of that hole with, I don't know whether you call that a counter bore at the bottom or a spot face. I guess a counter bore. So we'll, which one am I going to find first? Offset, all right. We'll offset 18 units, enter, select, specify side. Now these holes are, the through hole is 10 units, and the counter bore is 22 units, both in diameter, so half of that would be 5 and 11. Hit escape to get out, offset, 5, enter, each way, enter, enter, what's half of 11? Oh, no, 11 is half of 22. It looks odd, but I think that's what happened. I think I offset the wrong line. Erase that guy, offset. Still set at 11, enter. There to there. And what's the depth of the counter bore? Okay, it's 10 from the top. There's a dimension 10 on the far left side. So let me offset this guy 10 units down, and that'll give me a line to connect the dots for the bottom of the top or bottom of the counter bore. Offset 10, enter, click the top down. Okay, now let's start moving stuff to proper layers. I'm going to select everything that looks like an object line. Move them to the object layer. I'll trace from connect dot to dot hidden lines. Once I finish one entire hole, I'll just mirror it across to the other side. Let's see, we'll make current the hidden layer. Line. Now this is a little pickiness. I believe the hidden line should go all the way across. Notice your handbook has it terminate at the cylindrical portion. Actually, I'm sorry, I should be tracing down here. Line. I'll let you turn it in either way. But, interesting, didn't put that on the errata list. We'll move the center line to the center layer. And gotta scale it by a factor of, start using type in again. Scale, select the center line, 1.3, enter. Now, how can I get rid of the 0 layer out from under the hidden layer? Well, you know how to freeze a layer. Well, let's do that, but another way to do it is the isolate. You want to learn the isolate method or stick with the freeze the hidden layer?
Yeah, isolate.
All right, we'll click isolate. Whatever layer you snap on is going to be the only layer left unlocked. Hit enter, all the others fade out. I believe I can do a massive erase over the whole thing. And only what is on the isolated layer will be erased. Now, how do we unerase? Well, let's click on de-isolate. Aaron's not with us today. I think he's still using the AutoCAD work-alike. I notice you click isolate a second time to de-isolate, like it's, you know, off, on, off, same button. You click de-isolate, unisolate. They all come back.
Now, can you do that another method, Paul?
Yeah.
Can you click undo a couple times?
One more time. There.
Now, can you trap everything and then right click, select by layer?
I think what you're getting into is the filtering within the properties. Before I do it that way, Dan, what you already know is to set another layer current and then simply freeze the hidden layer. And that gives you a clear shot at the 0 layer stuff. But to answer your question, let me undo. Select everything, right click properties. This is an intermediate topic as well. This little quick select here, you can remove from the current selection set everything whose layer is 0. No, whose layer is not 0.
Yeah.
And that is
By layer under value there. Down. Yeah.
layer equal. Well, here we'll click exclude down here in a second. So whose layer?
So you can go both ways. You can go.
Oh,
you put or X.
Point. Not equal to 0.
That's pretty cool. I like that feature.
I'm not sure if this is going to work or not. I have a feeling once I get everything but except layer 0 selected, I need to lock those layers.
No, it's just going to select what you haven't included. Everything that doesn't equal 0 is going to select. That's what it's saying. So you're picking the opposite of what I think you want to, but go ahead. Do it.
Well, bear with me here. Layer equals 0.
So now it's changed to equal. Okay, yeah.
And exclude from the selection set. So the only thing that'll remain in the selection set, no, you're right. No, I'll click OK so that everything that's on layer 0 will be selected. Just hit the delete key.
Yeah.
Or the erase icon. Boop. There it's gone. Okay, we still got this a little bit in the bottom here. Let's draw a 34 unit line. I've lost track of what layer I'm on. We'll move it to midpoint right bar. Let's go to the object layer and connect the dots from the end point of the chalk line we just drew straight down to the intersection of the polar tracking line and the green line. You can do the same over here or mirror it about midpoint. I'll erase the red line I drew as a chalk line, and I'll trim everything away. Got to get these guys here. And I think, yep, I trimmed without having to erase it. Oh, might as well get rid of this while I'm here. I think I need to draw a vertical line yet. Always something, ain't it? Hit escape. You want a line from quadrant straight down. Trim, enter, so everything's a cutting edge. Machine gun everything that doesn't look like a completed project. I don't know how that guy got there, but erase him. Now, before we mirror everything over, and I'll have to trim the couple of line and arc on this side after mirroring, let's set the personal LT scale factor for everything. I'm guessing that the same factor can apply to the center. Oh, I got to trim these guys, don't I? Always something. Enter. There, I'll select all broken lines. Broken means anything that's got a blank space in them. Right-click properties, and we want it high enough so that the center line has just a one short line in the middle. I'm guessing 10. Enter. Yep, gambled and lost. Those blank spaces look a little high. Let's change it down to say 8. Enter. Oh, that does everything. Okay, I got a single line in the middle of the 1.3 scaled center line. Kind of cringe when I see a hidden line with just 2 segments in it. That's probably matches the textbook. Okay, let's erase some garbage because it's going to be repeated when we mirror. We were ready to mirror everything on the right side. Mirror, select everything on the right side. Enter. Pick a midpoint, polar track up or down, hit enter. I think I got 2 lines right here, didn't I? Let's test it. Erase, select them both. Yep, 2 objects were found. So I'll escape and erase the newer of the 2. Still got to draw. Oh, I should have mirrored this guy too. Why didn't I think of that? Near there. And trim, enter. Still got the center lines here. And I hope I do a better job than the authors did. Line, quadrant to quadrant. Better yet, I'm going to go center to top and then scale it by a factor of 2 to go to the bottom. Okay, then scale that by a factor of 1.3. Change it to the center layer. Lots and lots of dash points. Let's go to personal property 20. Just pulling out of my, so far so good. Mirror that guy. About a 45 line. See anything I'm missing?
I think there's too much overhang on that.
Okay.
I think you gotta trim the horizontal hidden line.
The book has these sections trimmed, but I believe the book is in error.
I'm with you on that one, Paul. The book is in error.
If we made this out of glass, there'd be a kind of like a washer shaped surface that went all the way across. And I don't know, Dan, should I reduce the whiskers a hair just so it doesn't hang out? Why not?
Yeah, too much. It's
All right, let's reduce it down to say 0.85.
that's better.
Yep.
Thank-
Okay. Just for perfection, I'm gonna get the 0 point off my drawing. Put everything, double check. I got no layers frozen. So I'll set everything in the positive quadrant. And let's save the drawing. Should have saved it by now. We'll call it.
Can I pause you for a second?
Certainly.
How did you identify there was no layers frozen real quickly? How'd you do that? You trapped everything and it tells you that there's nothing frozen?
Well, I don't recall ever freezing a layer.
Oh, so you didn't check them, you're just going based on memory.
Correct.
Okay.
But you're right, we could drop down nothing but suns here.
Yep. I just thought that maybe you were trapping it and there was some kind of thing in the command line that told you that that everything was unfrozen, but apparently not.
No,
Okay. Thank you.
not sure if that would be a wish list item or not. All right, let's save it as typical. First name space, WK, what's the week? 6 space, 45 space, ampersand, and we'll time. Oh, we've run out of time. You want me to get you started on 85? See what 85 is. Well, let me give you 5, there are 10 more minutes. Okay. Putting them in numerical order, let's move this guy further up. And I've forgotten the size already. So we'll put 85 down here. Let's start with the front view with all the circles on it, and we can draw chalk lines either on a layer we use or a construction layer. Center diameter, I'll put it directly below the top drawing, 45, enter. Move it. Starting to rain out there. Yeah, looks like I'm gonna need more white space, so fix that later. 20 unit radius on the inside, drop down radius, center 20, enter.
Well, I think you're doing 86, not 85.
Good point. All right, 85. Similar process. We'll start with everything is a diameter in 85. So we'll start in the midpoint. The biggest one is a diameter 37, enter. We'll move it down. We'll eventually get it back into positive. We'll click on center diameter again. Next one in is 25 and hit enter. Center diameter again. Center. Did I get the center? Let me start over again. I might have slid off the O-snap. Third one in, the hidden line circle is 17 diameter. And the visible one that is smallest is 14, enter. Keep looking at 86. Let's select the 17 and move them to a hidden layer. And I'm kind of guessing we'll eventually set the personal property to the same as we did here. What was that, 10? 10 or 12, I've forgotten already. Right click, 8. So we'll try 8 when we're all done. Since I let the construction layer survive, I'm going to draw chalk lines on the construction layer. If I ever move or scale the project, I'll have to remember to thaw the construction layer, otherwise it's useless and I need to erase it. We'll take advantage of the ray, which isn't in the program, but that's okay. Quadrant over, you know, machine gun copies of it all the way down the quadrants. And being incredibly lazy, instead of copying the rest of them, I'll mirror it. Although probably takes just as long. Check it out. I'm going to mirror all these about a 45-degree line to go straight up. Mirror, select them all, end point or center point, and mirror them at a 45-degree line. Let's go to object layer. Let's eyeball a point for the bottom of the top view. And we'll eyeball a point for the left side of the right view. Before I okay, that's not the far left, that's the longest line in the narrow band. I'll trim these guys, enter. shave, shave, enter to finish. Offset. I want to go toward the front view 10 units. I want to go away from the front view 8 units. Enter to finish, 8, enter to start, 8 for offset distance, enter. Click, click.
You're reading the number 86 again. It's 15 you want to offset, and 12, I think. 15 and 5.
Yeah. Always something. Well, hold on. Let's salvage some of them. Let's make, okay, these 2 green lines will be the furthest out from the front view. Okay.
You're gonna be
It might crash. I might run out of space, but all right. Offset 44 is as close to the front view as it's going to get. And I say we're too close, so I'll move just what's selected in the regular window and nothing else. Enter.
now, Paul. Excuse me. Why didn't you just build all the stuff in the right view, and then I like that 45 mirror you did to get all the stuff for the top view.
Good idea. Yep, you're right.
It's cylindrical with the exception of that. What is it? A key slot.
Right. And we can take advantage of the hidden line in the right view for the bottom of the key slot and trim it down to the bottom of the key slot. You're right.
And do all the work or most of it in the right view or whichever view you prefer, you know, the upper or the right, and then 45 mirror and save you some work. I'm all about
point,
efficiency.
Dan. Should I erase these or let them ride?
I get rid of them. It's messy.
All right. We'll erase them and complete the right side view and then mirror the right side view and all the construction lines straight up, though I doubt we'll need the construction lines again.
Can you get rid of that one green horizontal line too? The overlapping one?
Okay. Good point.
Yeah, that's better. All right, thanks.
All right, we're ready to I think I can trim this guy to the visible full circle, right? Trim, enter. And erase the long pieces. Okay, I'll offset this guy 15 units to the right, as shown in the top view. I think the textbooks would have put the 44 dimension, you know, put as many dimensions on in a single view. The 44 could have been put on the top view. It looks like that 12 unit could have been, well, dimensioning the hidden lines is, well, either way it's a hidden line. So yeah, the 44 and the 12 in the right side could have been put in the top view. Where was I?
You were gonna say that dimensioning to hidden lines is forbidden. You forgot the end of that sentence.
There you go. Unfortunately, I can't think of a way to avoid it, dimensioning the hidden.
You got to do a breakout view. You got to cut that thing.
Yeah.
Section.
Yep. We'll get into section views first day of intermediate. All right, I launched offset 15 units enter, select, click. I want to extend. Did we learn the extend command? Extend is the opposite of trim. Instead of cutting back to cutting edges, we extend out to boundaries. And there's a way you can toggle between the two in the middle of a process. Let's go to extend, enter, so everything's a boundary, and I believe I go is that right? I believe that is right. I need to offset this guy 6 units toward the center. That's shown in the upper left of the top view. Offset 6, enter, select. Let's see, the bottom of the keyway, the hidden line in the right side view is 5 plus 11 down. That would be 16. I'll hit escape for good measure. Offset 16. Okay, I think we trim it to the hidden line in the front. Hit escape to get out of offset, click trim, hit enter for everything. Shave, whoa, what happened? I'm still on extend. I need to drop it down to trim. Forgot about the fly out. Enter. There. Erase that guy. We'll move him to hidden before I forget. We'll offset this guy 12. Wait a minute here. No, this guy should go all the way. This is the bottom of the keyway. My bad. We'll extend, enter, there. Top of the keyway is only 5. From here, we'll offset this guy 11 to the right. It should be right there. Offset, enter, 11. What happened? Offset. I was hitting escape instead of 1-1. There.
Connect the dots and then we're done?
Well, I'm stuck with the where the hidden line goes here. Okay, I think it lines up with the hidden line there. So you're right. We'll connect dots there to there and there to there. And we'll trim, enter, shade. Oh, still on extend. Trim, enter.
That counter bore is, the hidden counter bore is a diameter of 14, right? By a depth of 12. Am I reading that correctly?
Stand by. Depth of 12. Unless it perfectly, I'm holding the textbook up. No.
7, diameter 17. All right, I see it now.
Yes. Your okay. I messed up these. Select those and erase. Line all the way to the end here. Why do I keep forgetting to change the layer? You can go to line object, there to there, and there to there. And there to there. And I think we're ready to mirror these three object lines about the center line. What am I missing? Oh, the 12 unit, right?
Yeah.
Offset. Shit, I hit escape again. Offset, 1, 2, enter. Back on hidden. Follow the lines. Okay, I think this line should have gone bigger. Extend. Trim, enter, shave. Whoa, what happened there? I'm back on, I'm confusing myself again with extend and trim. I need to trim this guy. Trim, keeping you longer than I'd hope. And we'll trim. And I need to extend. Poor planning as usual. Extend, enter. Back to trim, enter. Erase. Get the right view done. Up, got a little whisker right there. Trim, enter.
The keyway goes through the whole thing though. That dash line, the second dash line to the left has to go to the outer perimeters. The next one over. Yeah, that one's got to be extended to the outer perimeters. And then you're done.
I don't think it goes all the way up to here, does it?
Well, that's the way the view shows it.
I think it's in accordance with the right side view right now. Let me turn off the construction layer and let's look at it.
Oh, yeah, that looks better.
Let's put the center line in before we forget. We'll scale him. Oh, that ain't the scale command. There's scale, select, enter, midpoint, 1.3, enter. I'm gonna select all the broken lines and set the LT scale fudge factor to 8 and see how it works. I don't believe it's critical to have a single break in the middle of a,
No.
you know, you want the bullseye in circles.
It's good. 45 mirror. Good enough.
All right. We'll leave off the construction. Let me leave the slight detail of the, I think it's these two lines are the top and the bottom of the keyway completely through. And they'll end up with a rectangle right here. Let me leave that as part of your homework. For good measure, we'll move everything up into the positive quadrant. We'll get a little bit more white space between parts. You know how to put your name on now. I won't nitpick about text styles, but let's say put your name on it. Paul WK6. What did we say? 45 space ampersand 85. Probably should be in a layer name text, but I won't ping you for it. All right, I'll leave the couple of little tweaks with hidden and visible lines in the top view. Turn it in by midnight Saturday.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Anybody got any last questions before we call it a night? Actually, maybe this view should be a hair to the right. Yeah, this view over the cluster of these three. Just kind of eyeballing it here. All right, I think at least 3 of you graded week 5 homework. And I'm still outstanding 1 week 5 homework. So let's call it a class.
Thank you.
See you Tuesday, folks.
I had a question.
Yes.
Lesson 6 sheet that you have up, do we have a copy of that?
Short answer is no. I'll put it, I can't remember if I've got it in the classroom or not.
Yeah, so I can put all those layers into my NanoCAD.
Oh, I'm sorry. Aaron, you with us?
Yes.
Who's okay? I didn't notice you were with us. Well, how did I miss that? I'm sorry. Yep. I'm sorry. What was your question again?
I just needed to see if we have a copy of this lesson 6 sheet off to the right of the screen.
Right. Okay. Let's. Well, there's a bigger issue, Aaron. I haven't found how to load line types yet in NanoCAD. You can't do it the same way as in AutoCAD. Format layers. You click on the word continuous and nothing comes up to let you load. How have you got the hidden lines and center lines loaded and used?
No, I don't.
Okay. Let me work with you offline, and I'll send you some screen captures of how to load line types, and the LT scale might I noticed a lot of in NanoCAD, a lot of the words change,
Mm-hmm.
and there's almost a need for a translation page. You know, you look at this in IntelliCAD, it equals that in AutoCAD, and vice versa. So I'll get back with, I'll be sure to, if I can't put it up on the week 6 classroom assignment, I'll email page 6-1 to everybody. Okay?
I appreciate it.
Okay, let's call it a class. We gone, bye-bye. Check the video. And meeting